twisters. Violent, swirling winds so powerful they pick up debris and hurl it at deadly speed.
Tornado researchers found after these tornadoes 2x4s that would be impaled in refrigerators and sides of houses. And they used that observation to develop this standardized test.
A 2x4 shot at 160 kilometers an hour to test a new kind of shelter.
This is an 8-foot by 8-foot tornado safe room built completely out of plywood, lumber, nails, construction adhesive. Your whole house can blow away and this will still be standing. So it needs to be bolted down either to a slab foundation, whether in your basement or in a garage.
Wood might not seem a likely choice to defend against a tornado, but this researcher thinks it's ideal.
My name is Bob Falk, and I'm a research engineer. Living in a tornado-prone area, I see that a lot of people cannot afford to have a tornado shelter, and if I can come up with something that's cheaper and easier for someone to construct, we'll end up with safer communities and saved lives.
Bob's been working for a year and a half on his wooden tornado shelter.
So to perform the impact test, we have a air cannon, which looks surprisingly like sewer pipe because that's what it's made from. Of course, we have to put cages around all of this because it's quite dangerous.
He tested many different wall designs until he found one that met the official standard. No penetration on the inside, no pushing in more than 3 inches, that's 7.5 centimeters.
This shows the internal anatomy of this wall. It's constructed of 3 layers of 2x8s, and the one is offset from the others to create a tongue and groove sort of pattern. This helps interlock the different beams in the wall. The next layer goes on. The next piece fits in like this, and you can see the log cabin effect that is created by continuing to stack this up. We also reinforce this joint using some long screws, 8 inches long, to penetrate sufficiently into the next beam. We're also using some construction adhesive, and we put that between the joints to help hold together the whole structure, and also on the face here before we put the plywood on. Total material costs to build a room is between $3,000 and $4,000. The advantage of this safe room is that it's size that you can use it for another purpose. You can use it as a bathroom or a sauna or a wine cellar and still have the safety feature.
Bob wants to share the plans for the shelter for free on the web. But first, he has to figure out how to make the door.
What tends to happen is that because the door is stiffer, the missile wants to pierce the door. First, we tried just laminating some wood together. We shot that, and here's the result. The missile shot right through the door, created debris, was totally unacceptable. And this is the importance of putting the steel skin on the face of the door. The steel helps keep the missile from piercing the door and helps distribute the forces into the wood where it can dissipate energy, and the door will then survive.
Sheet metal on both sides of the door. Pass the test.
Go ahead, load it up.
Now Bob wants to see if he can lose some of that steel to make the door even cheaper.
I'm trying to investigate whether or not one sheet of steel is sufficient to resist this missile in impact.
The air cannon is pressurized.
Ready to fire?
Ready to fire. 3, 2, 1.
The first thing to notice is that the 2x4 is impaled into the door, which doesn't necessarily mean it's failed the test. I would have to inspect here on the back side to see. And in fact, it is a failure that did blow out the plywood. There was no significant debris that was created, but it deflected more than 3 inches, so that's technically a failure. However, I think it's a success because what it's told me is that what we need to do is put another sheet of steel on the back side to help contain this plywood, and I think this door will function very well then.
That's one hell of a strong door.